What's up, Ocean? You got Matt here, coach of your Montreal Milotic, bringing you a guide on how to speed creep in competitive Pokemon. I really care about each and every EV my Pokemon have available, and if you're watching this, you probably do too. And if you don't, no worries, you're gonna learn today. Whether you've been speed creeping for years or you're brand new and don't even know how to take advantage of a Pokemon's nature, this video will help you. If that sounds interesting, then do me a favor, stick around and of course, subscribe to the channel for more competitive Pokemon guides, battles, and top 10s. Also, if you enjoyed the video, help us reach our like goal of 75 likes on today's video. You guys absolutely crushed it on the first video of this series, so I thought we should up the like goal just a bit. But speaking of the first video in the series, if you missed it, make sure to check it out. It's a complete guide on how to maximize your EVs in your defenses. The link is in the description and in the cards. Now without further ado, let's get started. Here are my Draft League tips and tricks, episode number 2, how to speed creep. So you might be asking yourself, what exactly are we going to cover in today's video? Well, the main things are going to be number 1, how to properly invest in your speed to benefit each Pokemon in a given matchup. Number 2, how do natures play a role in competitive Pokemon? Number 3, how to outspeed teams when you use slower Pokemon. And number 4, probably the most important thing, speed tiers. Oh, and of course, I should mention, any calcs shown in this video will be done at level 50, but all the concepts I talk about today will be applying for level 100 as well. Just be aware of that when you do your building. Now, first we have to ask, what is speed creeping? Well, for those of you who don't know, speed creeping is the concept of only investing exactly what is needed to outspeed a certain Pokemon, freeing up the remaining EVs, and sometimes even a nature to do something else. Take Tapu Koko for example. Koko has a base speed of 130. It's an incredibly fast Pokemon. Your opponent's fastest Pokemon is Latios at a base speed of 110, still very respectable, which reaches a maximum base speed of 178. Koko reaches 200 speed with a timid nature, which is 22 points higher than Latios' 178. Those stat raises do nothing for you, so why bother invest that much? Even if I set my nature to a modest nature, Koko still reaches 182 speed, which is still more than I really need. To correct this, I'll lower my EVs from 252 to 228, reaching a stat total of 179. This is perfect because I now outspeed Latios and I have an extra 200 EVs left over instead of 256 and my nature as well, which I can use elsewhere. You see, that is speed creeping. But why is it important? Just look at my Koko set. If I didn't speed creep, I lose out on a huge amount of power by going modest, but I also lose out on a ton of bulk too. That's going to make it so much more difficult for it to take hits throughout the game, or even for it to get the Okos and 2 KOs I really needed to get. Now of course, this is only scratching the surface of speed creeping, so let's dive a little deeper. Speed creeping can be basic like what we just did with Latios, but what about something just a little bit more advanced, like creeping a Choice Scarfer or a Pokemon with a +1 boost in speed? Now you're going to need the Pokemon damage calculator for this. The link is in the description. It's the easiest way to find out the exact speed of a Pokemon that have a stat raise or an item. So for this example, not only does my opponent have a Latios, but they also have a Pangoro. Now with a Jolly nature, it reaches 121 speed, which is nowhere close to the 179 speed our Koko has right now. Oh, but with a Scarf, it reaches 181, and Gungshot can actually Oko my Koko. Damn, what do I do? Well, it's pretty straightforward. Let's just go back to 252 EVs in speed to reach 182. Problem solved, right? Well, kind of. Yes, for Choice Scarf Pangoro, we've solved the problem. We outspeeded, we should be happy, but I swear, they also have a Vikavolt on their team, and that's going to cause me some problems with webs. What if he goes Choice Band Pangoro? Do I still outspeed it while I'm at -1 speed from the Sticky Web? Well, unfortunately, I don't. Not if I go modest at least. At -1, Koko speed ties Jolly Pangoro at 121 base speed if I go modest, meaning I have to go with a timid nature. Okay, this is good. We outspeed the Pangoro and the Latios, but we have to go timid now, meaning we lose out on a lot of power. This is true, but it's not the end of the world. We may not have our nature anymore, but now we have an extra 376 EVs to use instead of the 256 I mentioned before. That's a massive increase. We can use that to invest in both our offenses and our defenses, so honestly, I'm pretty happy about this speed creep. Oh damn, I forgot my opponent also has Venusaur and Torkoal. Koko can't outspeed that in Sun, but I do have webs of my own because of Araquanid, so maybe there is something I can do. Well, let's pull up the damage calculator once more. Timid max speed Venusaur in Sun reaches 290 base speed. It's basically as if it was at +2 speed. This is well over what I can reach with Koko. Even if I do get up webs, Venusaur is at +1 still. It's faster, right? It gets to 217 at +1, so what's the point? Wrong! Weather is not the same as a stat increase. If it was, then the situation with that Venusaur would definitely be accurate, but it is not, and here is why. Weather, with its respective ability, doesn't affect your stat changes. All it does is double your current speed stat. So to accurately determine what Venusaur's speed in Sun would be after being affected by Sticky Webs, we have to go to the damage calc on Venusaur, click on Sun on the weather option, and lower Venusaur's speed by -1. This shows Venusaur reaching a speed stat of 192, meaning Koko can outspeed that. All we need to do is increase our EVs to 204 and keep our timid nature. That's amazing. Now obviously these are some very specific situations to keep in mind when you're speed creeping. Now not all of them are going to be as complex as this, but like I said, this is going to be a full guide on how to speed creep. So that covers my first point in the video. Now let's move on to number 2, which was natures, and why they're so important when speed creeping, especially when dealing with really fast and really slow Pokemon. For those of you who need a refresher, natures will increase one stat total by 10% while decreasing another by 10%, which seems pretty fair, but not all 10% changes are treated equally. Now what do I mean by that? Well, what's 10% of 200? 20. What's 10% of 150? 15. So this means that a Pokemon with a speed stat of 200 will have a larger change in the overall stat that the nature affects than a Pokemon with a lower speed stat would. Now let's go back to Koko and Latios for this to show the example. Modest Koko reaches 182 speed max. Let's increase that by 10% with the timid nature, we get to 200 base speed, a change of 18 speed. Now for Latios, modest Latios reaches 162, with a 10% increase it reaches 178, which is an increase of 16. So Koko jumps an extra 2 stat points more than Latios, even though both are timid. Now you might be asking, why are you telling me this? Is it going to be on the test? Well, firstly, guys, there is no test. I don't know where you're getting that from, and I'm telling you this because it affects your speed and your defenses. Oh, and also your offenses too. Okay, so let's forget about the Pangoro and the Webs and the Sun. We're back to just Latios and Koko. We've already established we need 228 EVs in speed to outspeed Latios, but we can also outspeed Latios if we have the timid nature and 100 EVs in speed. We may lose out on our modest nature, but we can now invest an extra 128 EVs anywhere we want. This is important because if we reverse the role and creep our special attack stats, with a timid nature, our special attack maxes out at 147. With a modest nature, we need 148 EVs to reach the 147 special attack that would be the exact same as a modest nature. And we'd also have 228 EVs in speed to reach our desired speed stat. Wait, just look at the screen. Do you guys see the difference? It's right there where it says remaining. These two Tapu Kokos have the exact same stat total, but one has 132 EVs remaining and the other has 156. Now I don't know about you, but I'm going to take the Koko with the extra EVs available, especially if I don't need the power boost by going modest. Just a reminder, if you guys want to learn how to invest those extra EVs in defense, go back and watch episode 1 on how to maximize your bulk. I know you'll love it. So that's natures for fast Pokemon, but what about for slow Pokemon? Now I'll be honest, I've played hundreds of Draft League games and this technique rarely comes up, but it's important to have in your back pocket. For this example, I'll be using Guzzlord, Bronzong, and Gastrodon. Now Guzzlord has a base speed of 43 and it's a really cool mixed wall breaker or sweeper. So usually you don't want to lower your attacking stats and its defenses are pretty low already, so it may be best to keep them neutral natured as well. All that's left to adjust would be speed. Well, Guzzlord has 63 speed without any EVs, and if it has something like a Brave Nature, it falls down to 56. Well, if the only thing I need to creep is a Bronzong, then I should be fine. Bronzong typically runs no speed, or even a negative speed nature, so I'll still outspeed Bronzong regardless of being negative speed nature myself. But I don't outspeed Gastrodon with a neutral nature. Gastrodon reaches 59 speed, so does that mean I need to sacrifice my defenses or offenses? No! I just add an extra 28 EVs to my speed creep. Who cares if I have a negative nature? You can still invest in the stats that you have that negative nature in. Because Guzzlord's speed is its lowest stat, it's the least affected by the 10% changes in any nature. This means I get all the offense and defense I could possibly want with Guzzlord while keeping my speed at a place where it needs to be. This is how speed creeping works on slower Pokemon. And boom, just like that you now understand how natures can help when creeping. Next up, how to win when your team is slower than your opponents. Now this section won't be too long, but it is pretty important. A speed stat isn't the end all be all. Abilities, items, and moves can all play a pretty large factor in the speed matchup. The most common way to impact speed is through a Choice Scarf. If you can afford to lock yourself into one move, a Choice Scarf is a great way to help you in a bad speed matchup. Berries like a Salac Berry or Custap Berry will give you a permanent speed boost or a one-time priority move and can be game saving if prepared correctly. Abilities are super useful too. Think of Prankster, Speed Boost, and of course the speed boosting abilities in weather like Sand Rush and Swift Swim. These abilities all provide you with ways to help when you'll be outsped. They all have their restrictions, but that's because speed is important and can't just be given away freely. Prankster T-Wave or Tailwind is an extremely effective way to outspeed your opponent as well. Just be careful for those dark types. Now speaking of Thunderwave or Tailwind, there are countless ways that a Pokemon can have their speed affected through moves and statuses. You can even Prankster trick your opponent with a lagging tail to make them slow, or set up Trick Room and go all in with your slowness. All I'm trying to say is even if speed is a problem for you in-game, there are tons of options for you to get around it when team building. Draft League gives players the ultimate blank slate to be as creative as they want. The only limit is your imagination, and as sappy as that sounds, it's true, so go ahead and get practicing. But the last thing I want to cover is going to be speed tiers, which I'm going to touch on here, but you'll learn more about them in episode 3, which is going to be how to draft a good team. Now, speed tiers are pretty useful. Essentially, good speed tiers make sure the jumps between Pokemon on a team are not too big and not too small. An example of a bad speed tier would be Tapu Koko and Mew. There's a 30-point jump between Mew and Koko in speed. This frees up a lot of potential opponents. Mew reaches 167 speed at the very most, meaning any Pokemon with 116 speed stat or higher can outspeed Mew without being a boosting speed nature, allowing it to hit harder or even be more defensive. The difference in speed stats for effective speed tiers increases as speed stats increase. For example, 116 speed minus 100 speed is 16. That's the difference in the speed stat for a Pokemon like Mew. But for something like a Jolly Bisharp at base 70 speed, it's outsped by a neutral speed natured base 83 Pokemon or above, which is only a jump of 13 compared to 16. Like I said, if you can, make sure to draft so you have good speed tiers that aren't too close or too far apart. It's just a bonus though, it's not the most important thing in the world when drafting, and again, like I said, if you want to learn more, you have to subscribe and watch episode number 3, how to draft a good team. Well guys, I've been talking for long enough, and if you guys need clarification on anything I said today, comment it down below. I answer every single comment I get, and it's a great way for you guys to interact with me. We also have a Discord server, The Ocean, where we have a ton of fun. We have gym challenges, speed tours to practice your team building and drafting, and of course, the Ocean League itself. Now, just a reminder everyone, if you guys enjoyed the video, it would mean a lot to me if you guys like the video to help us reach that 75 like goal. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're trying to reach 2,000 subscribers, and we cannot do it without your help. Once again, I want to give a huge thank you to JustKurt17 for editing this video. His links are all in the description. I'd highly recommend commissioning him for any video editing needs. I also want to thank Sleepy Zen for the beautiful new sprites we have as well. And guys, if you have any suggestions for any future tips or tricks videos, let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I will see you guys next time.